Come along with me today while I make blueberry muffins from scratch with our fresh blueberries and some whole wheat flour in my cast iron muffin pans. Soon after we bought our house in Louisiana, we were delighted to learn that blueberries grow really well here, and so we incorporated them in our garden and edible landscape plans. We planted 6 blueberry bushes in front of our front porch. They're really pretty bush. In the fall they turn bright red. They look good pretty much all year. In the winter, I guess, they do lose their leaves, but I like the way they look. They're a little bit wild looking, but you could, if you wanted, you could prune them into a specific shape. As far as maintenance goes, they do get pruned once a year. You prune them in the summer, not in the early spring like with a lot of berries. I made the mistake of pruning them in the early spring one year and did not get hardly any blueberries that summer. If you prune them later, like in the spring, then you're pruning off the buds that will produce berries. So the time you're supposed to prune them is basically after they're done producing fruit in the summer. Other than that, we just mulch the area in the winter with cardboard and leaves and a little bit of bunny poop from my Angora rabbits. That's pretty much all we have to do. In Louisiana, we don't need to irrigate them. We get plenty of rain. It's a pretty good crop for this area. So our family enjoys picking blueberries together about every day or every other day for a stretch of several weeks that we're in the middle of right now. We also have blackberries that I'll do some videos about in a little while. Picking berries is just fun. If you've ever had your own berries or been to a U-pick farm, it's just fun. I always wash them in just some tap water, let them soak for a few minutes and get the dirt off. Okay, this is my wheat and my wheat grinder. I'm using hard white wheat for this recipe, but you could use hard red wheat, that's fine too. They just have a slightly different flavor and texture, but are both really good. My wheat grinder is called the Kitchen Mill. Honestly, it was a hand-me-down gift, so I didn't have to buy one. But it's really great. It's a very compact mill. It does kind of make a mess, but I think it's a great product, and I'm going to link an affiliate link below if you are interested in getting a mill. I will link a couple other ones. My parents had a mill. I'm going to link the kind that they had. It was really great too. They're a great investment if you're interested in whole grain cooking or having food storage, because you can store whole wheat grains for a very long time if you store it properly. They will stay good for many, many years. And that way you always know that you will have flour available, as long as you have your wheat and your grinder. My cast iron muffin pan is just wonderful. It produces a nice outer crust on the muffin. Like, I wouldn't say it's a hard crust, but it's like a golden brown, delicious crust. And to prep them, I put a little dab of butter in each cup and put it in the oven at 400 degrees to preheat while I'm making the muffins. To make the muffins, I add 4 tablespoons of butter and 1 cup of sugar to my KitchenAid and cream it, which is just beating it at a fairly high speed until it looks fluffy. My KitchenAid is really old. I've been saying it's on its last legs for literally years, and it's still going. So this thing's amazing. Just ignore all the scuffs and scratches. You're gonna need 2 eggs, and I like to prep them in a bowl so I can just dump them in. I put them in one at a time and just stir it briefly between each egg. Then you're gonna need 1 cup of yogurt. You could also use sour cream, that would be fine. I make my own yogurt and it saves me a ton of money. I make it in my Instant Pot. It's very easy, and I'm going to make a video tutorial for y'all at some point. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or as I like to say, measured from the heart. I make my own vanilla as well. It's also so easy, and I can teach y'all how to make that at some point too. I'll put it on my list. Okay, that's all our wet ingredients. This recipe is really quick. You will add 2 1/4 cups of whole wheat flour. You can use store-bought whole wheat. It's just not quite as good. The quality isn't as good nutrition-wise and taste-wise, but it will still be yummy. Like, I wouldn't let that stop you. Okay, you need 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I just like to look at the baking soda that I'm scooping out and check to make sure it doesn't have any hard lumps in it. And if it does, I break them up with my fingers, because those can get in your muffin and not blend in. And it's very unpleasant to eat a lump of baking soda in your muffin. And you need 1 teaspoon of salt. I like using Himalayan pink salt. It's just yummy, it tastes good, and it's pink, my favorite color. And you're going to stir this on a low speed, not for very long. If you over mix muffin batter, it will make the muffins really tough. So you want to incorporate all the dry ingredients, but don't over mix. Use a spatula to help you get all the dry stuff in, and just do it on a low speed. Then you're going to add 1 1/2 cups of fresh blueberries. You could also use frozen. You don't have to thaw them first or anything. You can just dump them right in. Stir it for a little bit, not too long again. And that's it. It takes less than 10 minutes to make these. Well, at least to mix them. Then you have to put them in the muffin cups. This is a stiff muffin batter. It should look like this. It's not a runny muffin batter. Okay, here's my preheated, greased muffin pans right out of the oven. Again, that oven is at 400 degrees right now. And I'm going to put 1/4 cup of the muffin batter into each muffin cup. It should sizzle as you put it in. That's a good sign that you preheated it enough. That will help your muffins get that golden crust and also not stick to the pan. I've been making this recipe for over 10 years. It is so good. It's the only berry muffin recipe that I use. And you can use any type of small berry or chopped up fruit. You bake it at 400 degrees for 20 minutes if it's cast iron and 25 minutes if it's a regular muffin tin. But maybe just check it at 20 minutes and see if it looks good. It should be golden brown. These muffins are so good. The next step is to wait 5 minutes before you start trying to take them out. This will help them be easy to remove. If you do it too soon, they will fall apart while you're trying to remove them. But if you wait too long, they will kind of get rubbery from basically being steamed in their little cups. So wait 5 minutes and then you can just tilt the pan like this, run the knife around, and pop them right out. This works for any kind of muffin tin, honestly, but I feel like the cast iron is better at being non-stick. One thing I don't like about the cast iron muffin pan is the shape of the cups. It kind of makes a top-heavy muffin that falls over really easily. So that's too bad. But other than that, I love this thing. When you're done using it, you can let it cool and then you're just going to clean it out however you like to clean cast iron, or if you don't know how to do that, that's fine. My husband and I do it differently, but the way I do it is I just wash it with a scrubber of some kind to get all the crumbs and residue out. I may or may not use soap, and I use a little bit of water. Then when I'm done, I will put a little bit rub a little bit of oil all over it and put it back in the oven for 5 minutes or so. That helps get rid of all the water and just re-season it for next time. These muffins are so good. Honestly, I did overcook this batch a little bit. You might want to not cook them quite as brown as this, but they were still very delicious. They were not too dry or anything like that. Very yummy. I hope you enjoy them. Let me know if you have any questions about the recipe, and thanks for watching.